Hi, my name is Victor Stewart, and today I want to talk about something very important known as the fentanyl crisis. Fentanyl crisis has been a part of our country for the past, I'm going to say, 4 to 3 years, and it all started with an epidemic that America never took care of, known as the opioid epidemic. So today I want to get into something called the fentanyl crisis. Fentanyl. What is fentanyl? Fentanyl is a synthetic man-made drug that was originally used to sedate surgeries and cancer patients that would have severe pain. Fentanyl is one of the most powerful, addicting, most dangerous opioid painkiller ever created. It is by far killed so many more people than other painkillers, and it is extremely dangerous. I cannot even stress out. I'm about to get into how dangerous it is. It is a drug that is 50 to 100 times more powerful than morphine. Morphine is something they give to cancer patients, or if you have extreme chronic pain. 50 to 100 times more powerful. That is crazy. Just 2 milligrams, 2 tiny little milligrams of fentanyl can kill a person. That's pretty scary. Why is fentanyl a problem in the U.S. today? Fentanyl is a huge problem in the U.S. today for many reasons. But I put together this little graph to kind of show where it all originated. See, you started with a company called Purdue. Purdue is a pharmaceutical company that is the founder of the brand name OxyContin or oxycodone. Oxycodone was a prescription opiate prescribed to users in 1996. 1996. It started for users with chronic to mild pain, and Purdue was selling fake pharmaceutical ads saying that their product was non-addicting, saying that it had an extended release capsule on it and would not get you addicted to OxyContin. A few years go by, and this is what leads to the opioid epidemic, is what it is called. Thousands, millions of Americans were being prescribed opioids nonstop. They were getting addicted to them, physically addicted to them, not just mentally, but physically, and having withdrawals from them, and people were starting to die. People would start taking too much and become really dope sick and have terrible withdrawals, and people started to notice there was problems with Purdue and their product. So that was leading to the opioid epidemic. This then is the next step. OxyContin then gets sued. This happens pretty fairly recently, and I think it happened in 2021. But ever since OxyContin got sued, they were now forced to allow doctors to start prescribing patients less OxyContin, or not prescribe them at all. They got rid of mild pain. It is now only used for chronic pain. And so OxyContin is now less being used by these people that are addicted to opiates. Millions of Americans addicted to opiates, and they all suddenly just have to quit. This is a huge problem. And it eventually leads to the heroin crisis, where everybody starts looking for a way to fulfill their withdrawal that they're going through, and to basically not get sick. So they move to heroin. Heroin, eventually, this is where the fentanyl crisis begins. Heroin then starts getting laced with fentanyl, because fentanyl is really addictive, really powerful, and it gives you a lot better high or feeling. And fentanyl is probably one of the worst drugs ever invented. I think that it has killed thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Americans, and it's a huge problem that we need to deal with today. Counterfeit pills were also being created. Counterfeit pills are pills that would look like OxyContin but were laced with fentanyl. There are nowadays problems. A lot of teenagers and young adults don't know what drug they're actually buying. They think that they're buying a street oxy. They're actually getting laced with pure fentanyl and dying the instant they take it. And it's a huge problem in America. And today we need to figure out how to fix this problem. But the problem with that is there's a huge problem with fentanyl because it's so addicting and so dangerous that it's very, very hard to quit. Since fentanyl is so dangerous, there's many reasons why you can't quit it. One, you get terrible withdrawal symptoms. Your body will physically get sick. You'll start throwing up. You won't feel motivated. You won't be able to poop. You get physically sick, and your body becomes dependent on this drug to the point where it's so hard to quit. And another problem with it is the price. The price of it is really cheap on the street compared to prescription painkillers. A lot of Americans don't have the money to pay for the high that they need, so they move on to cheaper things like heroin or fentanyl. And it's really sad because they know that the dangers of fentanyl is super, super high, but they continue to do it because they have no other option. But then it's a lot easier to get than prescription painkillers. The availability of fentanyl and heroin is so much easier to get because if you don't get prescription painkillers, you don't know if you're getting the real thing because it could be laced with fentanyl and it's just a lot harder to get. And also on top of that, the power that fentanyl has is like no other. It's 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine, which is, you can only imagine the feeling it gives you, and I'm assuming it will be really, really hard to quit that. When will this crisis end? As of right now, this crisis will not end until we do something about it. The past 3 years, fentanyl has actually only gotten worse and worse and worse. Fentanyl has nearly doubled in the amount of overdoses for the past 3 years, nearly doubled or tripled, in fact. You need to spread awareness of, if you or a friend or a family member is using or has thought about using fentanyl, please inform them on this information. Let them know that it's okay to get help. And one last thing I want to talk about before I end is Narcan. Narcan is a tool used to reverse an overdose. If you or a friend uses prescription opioids and is battling an addiction and you don't know how to help them, always carry a vial of Narcan. It's something you spray up your nose whenever a person goes unconscious, and it will reverse the effects of an overdose. So it is very, very helpful. You need to always have one. Just have it in your car, your purse, wherever. It's very, very handy to have, even if you don't use. You never know when you might need it. But the fentanyl crisis has destroyed many lives. I would like to just warn you never to go anywhere near drugs. Drugs are very bad. But thank you so much for your time, and I hope you learned a lot about today, and please be safe.